you don't know what the end LLC is going to be yet, and you need to be able to sign it into that, even if you're not like flipping it for a profit.
Yeah, I've done that multiple times, but as far as like signing it to another buyer.
But how could that not be a different buyer? Because you have to have it assignable in the contract.
I don't know. I have read, and this is just, I don't know if it's true or not, but I have read that in some states, wholesaling is an LLC.
Yeah, I have too.
Okay, so.
I think like, isn't Indiana or Illinois one of those two? And then like certain areas in Ohio, I think it is.
I'm not sure certain states, but I know certain cities have their own,
Yeah.
Same with Airbnb, so same with wholesaling.
I know there were a couple places in Pennsylvania that were looking at doing it.
Okay. Yeah. But it's a great way to make some quick cash with no, cash of your own. So
for sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. How long have you been in real estate?
7 years now.
You start off with a rental?
Yeah, a single family rental, and then use that as leverage to buy another one, and then just kept going from there. And finally, I got a multi-family now, a mobile home park, and just trying to expand more.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. I learn it every day, to be honest. Yeah.
Does you do that full time?
Yeah, for the most part.
Oh yeah. What's up, bro?
Yeah, appreciate it.
How'd you come across the mobile home park?
Just randomly online, just looking up mobile home parks for Southern Virginia, and it popped up. I was like at the right time. It was posted the day before. It wasn't listed. It was off market deal. Just kind of right place, right time.
Cool.
Yeah.
City or the county?
In Highland County.
Cool. Highland?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, man.
Highland's beautiful.
It is beautiful back there. Yeah.
I'm trying to get some acreage out there.
Okay.
Highland or Bath?
Bath. Okay.
Yes.
Man. Yeah.
So
thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean, you're in Bath then?
It's in Highland County. Bath's right beside Highland County.
Okay, that's a little bit of a hike then, but okay.
From Stanton, it's an hour straight up 250 to get to Highland County, and then Bath County, I believe, is like an hour from Stanton as well.
Did you see the other one that's out there for sale?
Where at?
It's in Bath. It's near Covington.
Covington.
It's not on like LoopNet or anything.
No, I haven't been on LoopNet, no. How much is it?
They're flexible on it. They're asking $1 million for it. It's 50 lots. It's all direct build city water, sewer.
I haven't seen that actually. Park and tenant
I
mix.
think it's all tenant homes. I have a guys see like my, how will my team help me find that? Because I like send out emails and it came through that. Like I reached out to all the agents and that's how it came to me.
You don't have any interest?
Like when we look at them, we want to make sure we have like a minimum of 25,000, in the MSA, and that's even small. But like, I was looking at Bath, it was like, what is it? I think with everything, it was less than 10,000, like including Covington's County.
Gotcha.
So it sounds like it does fine, but it's just like for me,
I gotcha.
But it sounds like it's not moving too quick either. So would that be something you're interested in? I think it's 50 units and it has like a 3 or 4 unit apartment building on it too.
Okay.
It looked like it was in good shape.
Maybe I'll look it up. My next move is I want to get a lake house for Airbnb.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's the goal.
You let me stay there, right? For free?
Bring me some deals then, absolutely.
Well, that's a deal right there. What are you talking about? There's one right there. If you are interested, I'm primed because I was like, I'm probably like half of what you're asking.
Who's asking?
I don't mean to be rude on the laptop, by the way. I just had like work came up at the last second, so I've got to get this done. But what do you say, Brian? I'm gonna text him too really quick.
How many units do you have in your mobile home park?
18.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very big.
Yeah.
Can you expand with that one or no?
Potentially, I have a few acres there.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's all on the town water and sewer, so
Yeah.
huge plus there.
Yeah.
I heard when working with mobile home parks, like you can either be in control of the home, the manufactured home on the land, or the land and the home. Do you have it like where you have both, or?
So I own, all homes are park owned, but two are just lot rent. So the mobile home is theirs and they just pay me a lot rent. And I have water and sewer included. Yeah, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so anytime they wanted to hook up their trailer and move, they potentially could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The good thing about that is he only likes, pretty sure he only likes tenant-owned homes.
Yeah.
Is you don't have the headache of working on anything.
I
So
was gonna ask you that, do you feel like it's, I guess, less of a hassle?
definitely less of a hassle, and buying it, everyone wants, for the most part, only tenant-owned homes, because then you can be out of state, you can be wherever, you don't gotta work on anything really besides general, upkeep of the land. But I don't know. Again, it's my full-time job, so I don't mind the work. So I prefer the park-owned homes because it ups my monthly income.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's my personal. But if I was going to buy something farther away, then I would definitely want only tenant-owned. Or a lot of parks have, the bigger the park they are, like a maintenance man on site, and then in trade, like he gets free rent, and they'll take care of the park. So that's something too. But yeah.
Are you in Monterey or McDowell?
So the home is in Monterey.
Okay.
Park, yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful out there.
It is, man.
It's like Highland County is just different.
It is.
Can you get a management company to take care of that, like mobile homes?
Yeah, you could. Being out there, I'm not sure which one are out. I've never looked into them out there, to be honest, but it's kind of a pretty small town. I think the population for Monterey is like under 200. But there's nothing available.
Mm-hmm.
Like any home out there, there's nothing available for rent. Addition to the park, I also got 4 single family homes out there.
Where?
In Monterey.
Cool.
Yeah, with the park.
Have you thought of Airbnb out there?
Yeah, it's a plan too.
Yeah, cool.
Take one of the homes and
Because I know you cannot find an Airbnb in Highland County.
yeah, yep. There's one out there on Main Street, like there in Monterey.
Is it a cabin?
It's not a cabin. It's a very small. They might call it a cabin, but it's not a cabin.
Yeah.
It's a very small home, 2-bedroom, like very outdated, and they're averaging, I think, like $125 a night.
Yeah.
It's consistently booked. It's crazy. There's a trailer. It's like, I think it's on 4 acres, so that's the plus. But it's really a mobile home on Airbnb for like $115 a night, and they're staying rented. I don't know how, but they are. Yeah.
Winters are probably tough.
What's that?
Winters are probably tough for Airbnb over there.
Yeah, probably.
And you're probably better off getting like a 6-month rental.
Throughout the winter time.
Yeah, and then open it back up in spring.
Yeah. But also having Airbnb, I can go back there whenever I want to.
Yeah, that's my plan. I'm right up on the alley for getting like a lake house Airbnb.
That's right.
But lake real estate is hard to come by.
It is, yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you only have so many lakes in Virginia.
Very true.
And just like lakefront property, everyone's after anyways. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I want Lake Anna because it's closer, it's close to Richmond, close to DC, prime location, but they're like, it's in the works now, a 300 lot RV park to go there at the lake. So that's going to increase the traffic on the lake like crazy. Let's say it's only half capacity. It's 150 extra bodies on the lake now. Yeah. It's going to fill up quick. And then also there's a deadly algae on the lake. So certain parts of the lake right now, you can't swim in. You're not supposed to swim in.
No way.
Yeah, because you can make you sick. You can like kill your dogs. So
wow.
Yeah, really,
the mobile home park, that's me on public side though. Private side, you're gonna be good to go.
The private side, yeah.
Private side's nice. If you can get some real estate over there, you'll be cooking.
Very true. They're a lot more strict over there though.
Yeah, they are.
Everything.
You got, I think it's like 75. I think you need 150 feet of shore space to build a house.
Okay.
And I mean, that's why it's just so hard to get a lake property.
Very true, yeah.
Everyone's just looking for like every 150 feet. There's a lot of things there. Let's go here.
Very true. Yeah. So that being said, I'll probably go to Smith Mountain.
Yeah.
It's cheaper there.
I was looking at Lake Mumma is that in Bath?
It's in Bath, yeah, but it's you can't.
It's a park.
Yeah, you can't. There's no property there.
I was like, when I saw Lake Mumma, I was like, I'm gonna get my lake house there. And I was looking around, there's like nothing.
You'd be the only one, yeah.
Yeah, It's a national park.
It's nice back there though.
Yeah.
So yeah, Virginia, that's about it. We talked before about Deep Creek Lake.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a ski resort there. But houses there are so expensive.
Yeah.
Like compared to like the mountain.
Yeah, you get, I mean, the Lake Anna and Deep Creek, you get so many people just coming from Northern Virginia, DC,
Yeah.
Bethesda, and it's just you're priced out.
Yeah.
I'm really big on Lake Gaston down on the North Carolina, Virginia
I
border.
know you talk about there now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also there's looking at the casino spots coming in around Virginia.
Yeah.
There's one coming in Danville.
Okay.
I think Danville is going to be a really hot market. So I think that'd be like a great place to get an Airbnb or something. So.
The real estate's still really cheap, so maybe just buy something in general there.
I mean, Danville is incredibly cheap. So
Yeah.
it's you can go down there and I mean,
How far away is that?
I think like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Up the North Carolina border.
you're close. It's like probably 15, 20 minutes from North Carolina.
Yeah. And right now, I mean, as he says, once they build the casino and stuff, real estate will skyrocket. But right now, it's like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Saw a deal last year there for 17 grand.
Yeah. That's like not a crazy cheap deal. That's like somewhat.
Yeah.
It's a good
It's
deal.
like a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have great deals down there, but again, rents are lower, so Yeah.
That was the purchase price?
That's what they're asking for. It was a rough house too. So I think they ended up like not even getting, I don't think they got 10 for it. So.
Wow.
But it probably took what, 50 plus to make it right.
I don't think so. It was like on a road. So I think it's like after it was fixed up was like 55. So if you lived in Danville, it makes sense. But if you're trying to do it from a distance, it was like enough to do where it's hard.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And, that's one thing I haven't been able to do, it'd be good to pick Brian's brain when he gets here is doing things remotely, but then like Kyle, who he worked with, would flip them remotely too. And that's hard. Yeah. So, I mean, like.
Miller?
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah.
Nice. He's killing it.
He texted me and said he was 5 minutes out.
Hey guys.
Come on in.
Sorry. There was a big crash in 81.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How's it going? Good.
Waiting on Brian and Middlesbrough.
Matthias, did you have a market report you want to do or anything for this time or no?
Don't have one, no.
Because if not, Brian can pretty much just get into it whenever he walks in. Give barrage with questions and let him talk.
Is it Matthias or Matthias?
Matthias.
Matthias?
Yeah.
I say it wrong every time, so.
Yeah, I should probably learn that, but it's a fun note.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
I thought you were about to close the deal.
That would be sweet.
So,
Have you looked at any beach properties?
I love waterfront properties, but I'm gonna stay away from beachfront.
Okay.
So
see wherever you go.
just with, where the world's going, climate change,
Yeah, true.
the insurance
Good.
premium that you're gonna have to pay out there. I want fresh water. So, whether you're looking at a riverfront or a lakefront, that's kind of like what I'm after.
Yeah, it's-
But I would never buy.
The commercial stuff.
Just
Unless-
got 6 acres in Verona on the river, riverfront property.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, big space.
Would you buy on the market?
No, off market.
Oh, yeah. Cassidy?
So I
Yeah.
try to get all my deals so I
He
can.
was good.
Where are you from?
Where's Haven?
Cool.
Harrisonburg area.
I thought we
Nice.
gave a lot of notice for that one too.
Yeah.
But I don't know what, I was expecting more of a turnout for that one.
Are people here for wholesaling or like just in general looking for more connections? Like who's really interested in wholesaling?
We're just trying to get started out with wholesaling.
Cool.
Wholesaling and connections with anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
All of it. Really. Just trying to get into real estate and real estate investment. Trying to build something.
Sure. Awesome. Has anybody done a wholesale deal yet?
We've been trying to analyze some deals virtually, trying through Redfin. We think we found one in Front Royal, but we haven't done too much
Sure.
before, so trying to figure it out.
I've got some connections over in the front row if you need them.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
How's 52 Shenandoah going?
It's done.
Nice.
Yeah.
You keeping it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Most of them. Yeah. But,
Yeah, I walked through that property probably like 6 months ago.
yeah.
That was a good buy. That was a good price. Hello.
Oh man, I'm late. Hey,
Super late.
Look at all these people waiting to see you.
yeah, I know, my bad. What should I? What am I-
Just, so how do you have it set up?
I have it on my Google Drive.
Okay, so you mean on your laptop?
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't.
I got one in the car.
I can't.
I got one in the car.
Disconnect with them.
Yeah, you can't just stream and everything.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I say. I can just.
I
can just wing it.
I'm trying to.
I mean, I kind of got it. What's up, man?
Contract.
Yeah.
I got it.
No, I got it. It's
I didn't know y'all
a
was
good property too, so it's for a client. Yeah, it's pretty pricey. I'm like let it down my laptop. That's what I normally do. But I got this call like 20 minutes ago. I got it done.
Oh,
Sorry, it has a good conversation.
Yeah, exactly. This is.
Yeah, I gotta give out some secrets in there. What I'm doing.
Exactly. This one's done. If it gets under
I got
contract,
some stuff where.
you know, yeah.
How's your day going?
I gotta go to DC later. Going to Rolling Loud.
I mean, it's going on. We just finished up putting 2 homes in and got the decks done, and so
I went ahead.
Yeah,
She said the other day.
Virginia had a 60-day notice, so our closing is until like September for that. End of September. That one's 43.
It was cool. It was definitely, like I explained in on the IG video, like it was just like.
Hopefully so, yeah, just need a few more.
All of that. And then at the end, when we're done, he tells me that he just
So, one driving dollars driving around.
And that it was.
See, I saw about
Getting
that.
address.
And I would have reached out for a qualified and asked that question,
Anything
that
like
screening question, if we were interested today, would there be anything?
Well, you can't now, you know, it used to be like
That,
2
You know what I'm saying?
to 5 deals a year, at least for my area. I haven't seen one all year.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a little bit of time.
It's just the right place at the right time, to be honest, like online, if they're gonna post something,
I was
you
gonna
have
talk
to
before
be
you see it,
online at that
like, before you
moment,
went.
otherwise someone else is gonna say it.
It was
That's what I think,
It was
there's tons of best ways, but, driving for dollars, I think it's called, just driving around looking for
I
this
just
property,
called
looking for a property that you like,
and
and
spending
spending
an
an offer
order
on it, that's.
and I was just that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a walk down property. Yeah.
So you got that one, the short sale one was from Craigslist, or not Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace?
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be super quick for that. Do you have alert set up, or
What's that?
do you have alert set up for it,
No,
or?
I just have to be online at the right time.
Wow, you got it.
Yeah. What's that? Luke. Yeah, I got it for 90, a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, right near 81. Yeah. Solid deal.
What's the ARV?
You, 185.
You live in DC.
I live over here. I know you've been seeing me up there a lot, but
I'm not sure yet.
I live here.
Probably gonna flip it, but
It's just
I keep it
like,
ready.
out here. I just be working all week. I just say, hey, let me talk about it.
Fix it up.
Nah, for sure.
yeah.
That's a deal.
But no,
I don't know which word is more valuable.
well, if I do that, rent it, and I cut out first time home buyers and stuff, so
Your market.
Yeah, you wouldn't get as much.
there too.
Yeah, guys, I apologize again. I thought it was 6:30.
It's not good.
All good. All good. Better than nothing.
Cool. Cool. So, to start, we all ready?
Yeah.
Cool. So if you guys seen on Facebook, my name is Brian. I've been wholesaling. I guess you can say I found out what wholesaling was like roughly 3 years ago. I learned off YouTube. I had no real estate background. Nobody in my family does real estate. I had just graduated college and I wanted to figure out I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and real estate was one of them ways where I can do that. So I learned off YouTube. It took me 7 months to get my first deal, which was actually a virtual deal. And we'll get into that. Then after the 7 months, my buyer for that deal actually became my mentor. So I worked with him for like about a year, and he was a flipper, wholesale, and I was just an acquisitions manager, did a lot of acquisitions, just got better on the phone, learned the business a little bit better. And then this year in March, I launched my own operation, and I've done 10 deals since that time, with some deals being here in Harrisonburg, some in Richmond, did one in Georgia, and some in Winchester. So we'll talk about those a little bit. And I'm not sure, have all you guys done the deal before, or?
Have not yet.
Okay, so a lot of you guys have never done the deal? Okay, cool. So like basically, if you know wholesaling, you get a property under contract at a discounted price with the seller, then assigning that contract over to a cash buyer for a fee. So basically like the picture, you sign with the seller at $250, then assign it to a buyer for that different price, and you make the spread, whatever somebody's willing to pay, you can make that fee. I've seen $5K, $10K. There's a deal I haven't closed on yet, but should make like $45K. Like there's no limit on like how much you can make. You know what I'm saying? So like whatever you can negotiate, whatever you can help somebody out, is what you can make. So finding motivated sellers, this is gonna be your bread and butter. This is what keeps your business going. You gotta just have the leads. If you have leads coming in, you're good. So you wanna find people that are willing to sell their property at a discount. I would say 98% of the time, you're not gonna find them on Zillow, Realtor, like these type of websites. Those are more like the realtors and for like the listings, resale value. But the main key thing is you wanna find a pain point that they need to sell fast, whether it's like a problem they need to solve or it's they need money fast. So some of the key points that I see just from my experience, people I learned from that I call mentors, people I see on YouTube, are a tired landlord list. Basically it's somebody, they own the property for 10, 15, 20 years, and they're just tired of dealing with the upkeep, dealing with going back and forth, tenants not paying rent, maybe it's not taking care of the property, stuff like that. Somebody that's behind on their taxes. So as you can see, I'm gonna talk about one of my deals where somebody was behind on their taxes, and it also meant, or they were also behind on their mortgage payment. So Just somebody that needs to sell quick, whether they're gonna save the property from going into auction or foreclosure. Distressed property, I've actually had a lot of deals where it's just somebody that owns the property for a while and they just don't want to fix it up. They don't want to deal with the process with listing the property. Just kind of get it sold quick. Divorce, kind of self-explanatory. It's a tough time for a lot of families. Just be patient with those leads. And probate, basically there's a passing in the family and somebody inherits the property. So that's another one to kind of look at.
Have you done any probates or done a probate deal?
I haven't, but I want to get into it. I try to, and also, starting off, like, I try to just be real niche, and just stay on one list, because then you find out you're having the same conversation with a lot of people, and you don't have to keep, like, oh, this is a different situation they're dealing with, or, like, they're dealing with divorce. Like, I try to say, if I'm dealing with tax delinquent, I'm gonna stay tax delinquent. So I find a deal, get a deal, and that sort of thing. But no, I haven't done probate. But I hear there's nice spreads in probate.
It's hard. It seems like it's hard to get set up for probate, but
Yeah,
like to get it going.
yeah. So, but yeah. So these are some ways to find motivated leads. Now I think, like, me starting off, I literally had no money, so I had to figure out a way how to get leads for free or super cheap, because I didn't have money to spend. So one way is vanity signs. These are these signs right here, like that. We buy houses, put a number on it for them to call at any condition. You might even get some buyers to call you that
Aren't those illegal?
are interested.
Aren't those illegal?
So that's a good question that you asked, because in some areas they are illegal. So you have to check in with your county. And I know, like, in bigger cities, they're more restricted than smaller cities where they might let it sit for a couple of weeks before they take it down. But check in with your county, your city, make sure it's legal.
Do you have any in Harrisonburg?
I don't. I wanted to start doing it. I just didn't. I guess you can say I was being lazy, but I'm just doing other, like, marketing at the moment. But yeah, so check in with your city. The next one, though, was driving for dollars. This is all if you don't have that much money, but you got some time on your hands to find a deal. And that's basically, you're trying to find a property that it looks abandoned. Maybe it's boarded up, got tall grass, looks vacant, maybe has a code violation note on the door. Just anything like that. And you write down all the property addresses that you see. And then when you go home, you can either market it, you can direct mail it, you can text it, you can cold call, whatever. But that's another, like, cheap, effective way of getting deals. And I've seen people get deals both ways. Craigslist, it's a little watered down now. You see a lot of wholesalers on there, but you can still find a couple leads. I found a couple leads before, a lot of virtual leads on Craigslist where people just want to sell their house fast. But the bread and butter for me, and I know for a lot of people that do, I don't know if you guys look on YouTube and see these people doing like 10, 15, 20 deals a month, like the big dogs, they're pulling lists and they're just marketing the hell out of them. So that's what I do for right now. I'm not doing that many deals a month, but I'm pulling the list, whether it's tax delinquent, probate, vacant, high equity. And most of the time you'll find out you can get some of these lists from the county for free. So when I started off, I got tax delinquent lists and they're all free, and those are my leads that I called. So if you guys are starting out, you don't know if you want to go all in or spend money, that could be a good way for you to just kind of start off. So, and another way, so if you have a little bit of money where you want to pay for a subscription, what I do now is I use PropStream. Batch Leads is another one, List Source. These websites will give you like high equity lists, they'll give you vacant lists, tax delinquent. Now in some areas it's a little dated. I know for like PropStream, I know Chase has said it before, it's a little dated, it's not always updated. So I'm not sure how Batch Leads is.
I think batch is the same or worse.
Same way or worse?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Remember we were talking about that a little while ago.
Yeah. TJ, I thought TJ was gonna be here. TJ said he's on Batch Leads.
Maybe it's not as bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
See what he says.
So, but yeah, that's if you have some cash you want to just kind of throw in. It's like, there's different packages you could do, like $99 a month, $179 a month. And those kind of give you those lists to kind of mark it out. So,
Which one is your favorite, by the way, out of those?
out of those three, so I haven't used, I've used List Source when I first started. But right now I'm on PropStream. And that's just because I've seen a lot of people do it. But just by like watching the recent videos that have been coming out, I think Batch Leads nationally is like the industry leader for a lot of areas. So I'm hearing a lot of good things, but it can be tough. Harrisonburg is not that big of a market in the grand scheme of things. When you're thinking about Richmond, San Francisco, you know what I'm saying, like big cities. But yeah, I'm using PropStream for now.
What's been your most profitable method for obtaining leads?
Like, are you saying like ways to market or like certain lists?
What out of all that list?
So for me, so I'll tell you, because I just started basically my own operation in March.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is a lot of testing. I don't know if you were in the last meetup, it was a virtual one. Like, I'm doing a lot of testing. And I would say right now, I'm not even full in on any market. Like I feel like I'm still testing each market that I'm kind of hitting. So I pulled a lot of niche lists. So say I'll pull like a high equity list. I pulled a lot of high equity recently. And basically that's just people that own their house, I'd say 10, 15 years. And I would say most of the time, those houses need work or they're just dealing with something like a tired landlord or whatever. So, for example, when I started, I put a lot of Richmond lists, right? So I wanted to hit a bigger city, just bigger or whatever. And what I did was did high equity, and I try to narrow it down. So if you do high equity in Richmond, you might see 60,000 properties, 80,000 properties. But what I do is I try to niche it down. So I'll do, they've owned the property for 15 years. So on these websites, PropStream, you can filter it out. You can do.
I have PropStream on there if you want to like go through the website.
Oh, really? Is it already on there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can. I think it'll really quick. You can like filter it out. Let's see. I hope I remember my login.
Oh, you're not on my Google account anymore.
If I can remember my password. Let's see.
Yeah, my bad. I was thinking of having my login still.
I think I got it on my phone. Let me show you guys.
Does PropStream have a mobile app?
I'm not sure. I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear Batch Leads does.
No app.
Yeah, that's what TJ's saying. He's a Batch Leads ambassador.
Batch Leads investor.
They gotta pay him as a commission.
Yeah. Yo. Use code T.
You got it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't remember my password.
Yeah, I thought
It's saved on my laptop.
I thought my auto login was still going.
You're fine. But yeah, to answer your question, like you can look up. So basically, I didn't want to spend too much money. I wanted to hit the most motivated people like out the gate. I didn't want to waste my time with people that aren't interested in selling. Maybe now I can do it where I pull more broad lists, but in the beginning, I want to pull the most small list, and then also I wasn't sure what market I wanted to hit. So I'm pulling like 2,000 here, 2,000 here, 2,000 here, 2,000. And then I look and see which markets are giving me the most leads. And then when I'm talking to these leads, I want to see who are like the most motivated. And I kind of just assess that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I will pull the high equity. I'll put non-owner occupied, so they're not living in the property, and I'll put they lived in the property maybe 10, 15 years, right? And I'll pull that short list. Then I'll skip trace it, and I'll do that for multiple areas, and then I'll see which one kind of gives me the best bang for my buck from there. But yeah, high equity for the most part right now. Yeah.
What listed the deal that you have under contract that can possibly close for 45?
Oh, the Harrisonburg, that one was, what was it? I think it was high equity.
High equity?
Yeah.
That's in Harrisonburg?
Harrisonburg,
Oh,
yeah. And the only reason it was high equity, they've only owned that property for 2 years, and they bought it to flip. But like I said in kind of the beginning slides, you want to find a problem, and their problem was, I think her husband was sick, and they want to move to like Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, hey, like I'll take assessment value of the land type of thing. I didn't even negotiate it hard. It just kind of fell in my lap, and I was like, hey, I can do that for you. Give me 30 days, and I'll let you know. So
Just a question, have you noticed like for your deals that a lot of because like some of the stuff that you guys might see online, it seems like they're always pushing how to negotiate. Does it seem to you like when you've got your deals that it's like the seller's kind of, for the most part, they'll say, I just want X, and that just turns out to kind of be a deal? Like,
so not all the time. I actually find it hard to get a number out of the seller sometimes, but I kind of worded it different, and I was going to touch up on it, was like, I never asked the seller, like, what do you want? I more say, hey, look, I've never seen the property. I know I kind of called you out the blue. I'm not sure, like, if you spoke to other people, but just kind of what we talked about and the condition the property's in, what do you think that property's worth and it has its condition? And they say, oh man, I think it's assessed for 100K. I think it's worth 100K. I said, okay, well, has the county came out and like assessed it personally, or did they just kind of like are doing their yearly assessment type of thing? And then they're like, oh no, they just kind of did it. I'm like, yeah, like they kind of use a different formula than us. What I do is, and I try to keep it simple for them. I just say, hey, look, I just see what properties are worth around there, see what needs to be upgraded, and I give you an offer. And then you can let me know if it's something that's fair. And then I know starting off, you want to give an offer, or I know giving an offer can give you anxiety on the phone. You're like, oh man, this person's gonna curse me out. I'm offering 30K for their house and it's worth whatever. But one thing I do is just give a ballpark. And I say, hey, look, this is a wide range. I'm somewhere between 40 to 70K. And I'll give a super wide range. And then that kind of gauges it. And they're like, oh, okay, I'd like 70. You know, they're going to go to the higher range regardless.
yeah.
So he's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm not sure. Like this can change. This is just kind of where I'm at. I got to look at my partners. And then that's kind of when I'm on the phone, I'm still looking at some comps, still looking while like we're talking. I say, hey, look, well, this property right here just sold for 125, and your property, and this is completely renovated. They fixed the kitchen. When was the last time you fixed the kitchen? Oh, it's been 20 years since I fixed the kitchen. Like, okay, well, we'll probably have to upgrade that and kind of do something like that. And then that kind of just brings them down a little by little, and we try to just talk it down. And then I already gave them the 40 to 70. So even if I really have to be at 45, they're kind of already know it's like, hey, look, I told you I can be anywhere in between. And then if you made calls before, you realize 98% of the time, you're not even getting the deal on the first call. You're really building a relationship, and then you end up getting the deal 3rd, 10th, 15th time you call. So like, you just have to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, when you have that medium range, how do you handle it for the people that call? Because it seems like a good amount of time, let's say have a piece of marketing go out or whatever, they'll say, you haven't even seen the property, what price can you do? If you're gonna do this, here's what you're offering. I need to know exactly what it is. Maybe that might be a little bit.
So you're saying like, I give them the range, and then they say like, no, I need an exact number?
Like, yeah, like you don't even know what you're talking about. You're giving me a range, you haven't seen the place. I'm sure you get that a lot. How do you handle that?
No, that's a good one. So I was like, okay, you're right. And that's why I wanted you to give me a number. Because I'm actually not sure. I want to just kind of look into that market a little more. I'm not sure. But I do know I've been flipping houses for a good bit of time right now. And I just know what stuff costs. So if you tell me the kitchen needs this and that, I can gauge and know what it's going to cost for me to work. And then I also know the transactional costs. And I have a spreadsheet, and I tell them, hey, I have a spreadsheet here that gives me a range. And it's just kind of, you can take it or leave it, no feelings hurt or whatever. So that's a good question. I get that a lot. A lot of people ask that. And
It's that like they'll push for you to come see the house, be like, hey, I haven't seen it. They'll be like,
Right.
come look at it. And if you're doing it virtually, then.
And yeah, I was about to say, so I'm doing a lot. I'm doing some virtual. I did a deal in Georgia, and kind of have all this stuff all there, but we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So I did a deal in Georgia. I've never seen the properties, and I tell the people, like, I'm in Virginia. I say, look, I'm in Virginia. I can't come see the property, but if we were to agree on a price, I can get my guys out there, and they'll let me know in the first couple of weeks if we can do it or not. All we have to do is come see the property once or twice. It won't take any more than 10, 15 minutes, and I can let you know. And most of the time, I don't see a lot of sellers saying no, it doesn't work, because most of the time they have to sell anyway, or they want to sell. So yeah, that's kind of how I keep it. I say, hey, look, I'm in Virginia. I can't come down, but I do have people that I call them my potential financial partners, my buyers. That's what I call them. So, because a lot of people, when you sign a purchase agreement, they think it's like finalized. But I tell them, I say, hey, look, this isn't finalized yet. I still need to get my financial partner's approval. And I have a few people that I could go with on this. I'm just not sure who I'm going to go with yet. And they say, okay, and most of the time they agree. And I know one guy, Luke, I think they were mutual friends with you guys, Luke Hart, whatever. We literally just did this last week.
He shaved his beard off a little bit, I think.
Oh, that's you right here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Beard on.
Yeah, I wasn't even at the property. And I wanted to be there, but I was on my way back from DC. But just told him, hey, look, I got a couple potential partners, and Luke was out there with a couple other guys. And just like, hey, I'm just not sure who I'm gonna go with yet. And then most of the time it's good.
So you let the homeowner know that you're a wholesaler?
I don't say wholesaler.
How do you say it?
I say I'm an investor. If you're a wholesaler, you're an investor.
Yeah.
I just say I'm an investor. I just have financial partners. And then on your contract, you got to make sure it's assignable. So if they ever ask, why is there assignability if you're the buyer? I say, hey, look, we might close under my partner's LLC. And it might not be mine. So it's just to save us some time. I put that in there. We don't have to re-sign anything, and we can just kind of close on it.
So what happens if you can't find a buyer?
So say my study period is up and I can't find a buyer.
So you have to have the contract or study period or finding financing.
Yeah.
How you stated in the contract.
Yeah. So the way I do it, and this is how my mentor did it. Well, I was surprised. He doesn't even put down any deposit down at all. So I'm not putting a deposit down on any of these properties I'm putting under contract. So it's just the way if you can word it.
Quick question with that. Did he ever check into that? Because I'm pretty sure you have to have $1.
It's at least $1 or something.
And that's what I thought at first, right? And the deals I've closed, I haven't put anything. And I don't even do the title search until I find a buyer.
That's the thing is you've got kind of the good deal defense. I'll just check into it. Maybe Kyle already has, but.
Right. I'll probably call him after this and be like, hey.
Everything I've read and understand, I could be wrong, but you have to have at least $1 for valuable consideration.
Okay.
Otherwise it's not a valid contract.
See, I used to do 10, it's $10 for everybody, but.
Because it's if they care to kick out of it and kind of knew something, that's where things would go sideways.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people are just under the impression it's all right, I'm locked in. I tell them hey, only thing you're doing is signing this is it is legally binding. You're just locked in with me. You can't sell to anybody else for this time period. After this,
Sorry, how long do you make your contracts for?
So right now I'm doing 30-day study period with a 45-day close, just in case, because most buyers can close in 14, 15 days if they're cash. So but it's on or about. So
I buy some cash deals, and right now with my lawyer, with title, title companies, it's still taking 5 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's title, that's like certain ones, like our lawyer.
Even my
That's
lawyer's
2 weeks.
Are you
Okay.
are you using David too? I know Chase had recommended me for David.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep recommending him because that's one of the things where he'll push things through.
That's the
And
deal I'm
because I told you about him, he pushed that through, so.
Yeah, man. That's the one that hasn't closed yet.
Is he having issues with it or?
No, we had title issues. They had I don't know what was going on. I think it was a miscommunication, but they had some title issues with they had a lien with RMH, and RMH is not a thing anymore or whatever.
Yeah, it's Centera.
Yeah, so it's Centera. So we had to like go through all these loopholes. I called so many people, and I just got in touch with the right person this week to like do it. So
We usually get a doctor in touch with him now, and we had something like that last year, he helped me with.
yeah. Yeah, so
Going back to your virtual deal, how do you find a buyer?
What's that virtual deal?
What's that?
yeah, so I actually was gonna touch up on that. For my virtual deals with my local people, it's honestly the same. Like I don't do much different. Cause like even the deal that Luke went out to go see, or the contract I got, I haven't seen it in person myself. So when I started getting these contracts or these properties under contract, I realized that a lot of the time, I'm not even going out to see it to get it under contract. So I realized I can just do it where, now you wanna make sure your buyers are legit. You don't wanna just keep sending like random people out to these properties. But I find these buyers and it's like Facebook Marketplace is a good one. Craigslist, a lot of Facebook groups are good.
Bigger pockets.
Bigger Pockets is a good one. Even realtors, like realtors know a lot of people. I offer them a commission if they find a buyer. Like, hey, obviously you get cut in.
How do you kind of check the credibility?
With the buyers?
Yeah.
So I probably should vet them more, honestly. But I know I just say, hey, like, are you a cash buyer? I just kind of, they contact me. Are you like, they're interested? I say, hey, are you a cash buyer? And then they say, yeah, they say no. I'd say like, I don't really vet them, or I don't ask for proof of funds, really. And unless I've never done a deal with them and we're about to sign, I'll say like, hey, can you show me proof of funds? So I know I'm not telling the seller, like, we're good, we can't do it. But yeah, I don't really vet them as much. I feel like if somebody is a cash buyer, or if they're not a cash buyer, they're not gonna try to go see the property when I say, look, it's only cash. Like you can't buy the property if it's not cash. So that's kind of how I do it.
Where do you pull your contracts from?
Contracts? I know there's a lot online. Do you guys know like Max Maxwell?
Yep.
On like YouTube? I know like his Facebook group has like all the contracts on there. I think it's called Wholesaling Houses Elite.
Yep.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like a little setting where he has like all of the documents that he uses, and they're pretty good. So yeah, that's kind of what I use. But yeah, so like back to this was like marketing to the sellers. You can door knock them. It goes back to saying if you have enough time or versus money, door knocking is one. Direct mail. I'm actually not doing direct mail. I'm gonna get into it. Like I said, I still feel like I'm early. But direct mail is a good one. I know for my mentor, he makes the most money off direct mail when he tracks his. So if you have some money, I know direct mail is good. SEO, website traffic, basically somebody looking up on Google, sell my house fast, need cash for my house, finding your website. Same thing with Facebook ads, just target some words. Then, but yeah, so like you have your list and then you skip trace them. You can skip trace them to text, cold call, whatever you decide. So like back to in the beginning, before I got a deal, I had no money, literally no money. So I use these websites to skip trace all my lists. Now, like I said, you have to have time because on these, you have to do it one by one. You know what I'm saying? Versus if you were to use one of these websites, Smarter Contact or Batch Leads, and there's one of these, it's just a couple that I know. You can just upload the whole list and it'll skip trace the whole list. Now it's probably like 15 cents each entry. So yeah, if you have the cash and you want to save time, that's the way to go about it.
Have you tried the data finder?
Data Finder? No, but I have heard it. heard about that. I haven't tried it though, at all. I know one thing, but batch leads, I feel like also going back to pulling like lists with batch leads is like that one website that has everything. So a lot of people are using that. They have like the text platform. You can pull property lists. You can skip trace all in one and pay like one subscription. So,
And what percent is accurate from the data you get? Is that 70%, 80%?
so it varies. I know the bigger cities is more accurate, or I get a better percentage versus like a Harrisonburg or Waynesboro, Stan. So like if it's Waynesboro, Harrisonburg, Stan, and I use Smarter Contact, so that's, I would say like 65% maybe hit rate. Now if I'm doing like Richmond, I might get like an 82%, 85% or something crazy. But then also, and I have VAs that work with me. So I have 2 virtual assistants and they call for me. But just this morning, they were telling me there's a lot of wrong numbers. So you still get wrong numbers, bad numbers. But for when you skip trace, they'll give you around like that percentage, or that's what it says at least. So.
They ask you how much you spend on VAs a month?
Right now, I'm paying my VAs $4 an hour. And I got them from just like a friend in the business that kind of has a connection. But yeah, so that's about, and they're only part-time, so they're only working 25 hours a week. And it's about what, 100 a week for each one. Yeah.
If you don't mind talking about how you work with VAs, like training them, do you do weekly calls or daily?
Yeah,
calls?
so first starting off, I got them from somebody and I paid for them to be trained by somebody. So I paid that, and then at first, for the first month, I would say I met with them every day, Monday through Friday, for a good like 30 minutes. And just to kind of show them, train them, whether it's like telling them how to pull lists, make calls, go through the script. And then after like the first couple months, now we only meet 2 times a week. And we have like a group chat where if something's happened, they can just text me and we kind of take it from there.
One thing to check out that might help you with your data, if you're going to do like a batch of skip tracing, is you can check out Upwork and hire a VA that uses TLO, and then that'll get you better data.
What exactly is that? TLO?
TLO is like, it's made by TransUnion. TLO, or I forgot the other service is called, but they're paid, and the VA should automatically have access to it, but they'll charge you for like, if you do 500 contacts, it's X. If it's like 1,000, it's X. You know what I mean?
Really?
That way they just skip trace your whole list and they give it back like a couple days later or whenever with everything done. But I've done that, and the numbers seem to be like the most accurate out of everything.
Sheesh, yeah, you said Upwork, right?
Yeah, I got it through Upwork.
Yeah, I might have to try that out then, because data is like the key in this business. You have good data, like you have an advantage.
Yeah.
You have an advantage. So I'll definitely try that out. But yeah, those are some good websites. If you don't have that much cash, those are some good free websites. That's what got me my first deal. So now, like talking to sellers, there's like, I came up with 4 different personality types. It might be more, but you want to approach them kind of differently. Now, like, so you might run into the analytical seller, and he wants to know the numbers. So he wants to know, how are you, like Chase was saying, he wants to know how you came up with that offer. He wants to know every number you're telling him, he wants you to back it up. He wants you to show him the comps. He wants to research your business, make sure you're legit. He wants his lawyer to look over the contract. He wants to talk to his wife about it. Those people, you want to be kind of patient with them and be very detailed. It's probably going to be a long convo. But yeah, identifying the personality trait is definitely big. Then you got the aggressive seller. He wants to get straight to the point. He might just keep asking you, what's your offer? What's your offer? What's your offer? My advice would be just don't lose your composure. Don't get an attitude looking back. So, and then you find out that that's just kind of like the hard barrier that he has, because, or whatever. Like, I know a lot of the time, say somebody would be like, what's your offer? What's your offer? I'll say, Well, yeah, no, I get it. I know I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know for me to give you that accurate offer on what I really can do, I just have a few questions. It'd take a couple minutes and it'd let me know if I could be a good fit for you. And did you have a quick minute? And most of the time, if they say no or they're still having an attitude, they're not motivated anyway. And you can just trash that lead. Or maybe he says, oh, okay, I do have a quick minute. And then he kind of eases it in or whatever. Then you got the easygoing seller. That's the seller that wants to talk about everything, her dog, her daughter that graduated, how long she's lived at the property, every story there. My advice with those sellers is make sure you create urgency, because you can find out that you'll have like a 3-hour convo with them and they're ready to sell 3 years from now. And you could have called like 20 other people that's ready to sell next week. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, develop that relationship, but also create that urgency. Make sure you know how soon they want to sell, and stuff like that. Then you got your emotional seller. Now that's the person that has the emotional attachment to the house, or they're just being emotional about making those type of decisions. My advice would be to show empathy, be patient, and don't fake it. When I say show empathy, don't fake it. I know a lot of people, they're gonna sense that. I feel like if you fake like you really care, they're gonna sense that they're probably just not gonna want to do business with you. But really just be patient with them, and they're probably gonna take a little longer to make that decision, and that's okay. So just be patient. So my goals on the first call, like I said earlier, 98% of the time, maybe 100%. I don't think I've ever called somebody once and got it under contract. So like I want to, like, you guys that haven't done a deal before, like you call somebody, say they are motivated and they don't sign with you that day, like that's okay. Like they're probably not ready to just sign a paper with somebody they don't know, they had one conversation with. But these are kind of like my goals on that first call. I want to build rapport, a connection, and be relatable. So anything you guys can like relate to the seller, whether he likes basketball and you guys talk about the finals, or he has an interest in real estate, you guys talk about real estate, can be relatable. And some of those questions right there is just like, I try to ask the first, like low pressure questions. I'm not asking him how much he wants for the house on the first question. I'm not asking him how long he's wanted to sell the house. I'm asking him, hey, how long have you owned the property? He might just tell you, are you living there? Is this a rental property? And you find out if they are motivated from those simple questions, they'll go on a rant talking about, oh, I've lived here for 20 years. My son then lived here and now he's going to college and I just have nothing to do with it. And I just want to get rid of it or something like that. So they'll usually just come out and say it. Also, I want to know the condition of the property. If he's telling me the property's in great shape, 2021 condition, I'm already thinking I'm not going to be a good fit for him. I might not want to waste that much time on the phone with him, because he can probably list the property. Now, I don't completely throw it away, because he can still be motivated where he wants to sell for some other reason. But then also, like I was talking to Chris earlier, so he went on a seller appointment, and then he found out that the seller wanted, or they had already signed the contract, right, or something.
Yep.
So like one of the questions I like to ask early on is, okay, hey, Mr. Seller, if we were to agree on a price, how soon would you be looking to sell? Like how soon do you see yourself wanting to sell this property? And then they might give you, hey, I can be out of here in 30 days. Oh, I need to wait for my daughter to finish school this year. We need to wait 3 months. And that kind of gauges me on saying how much time I should spend on the phone with them. Because, you want to speak to the most people you can on a day. You don't want to keep dealing with people that aren't really going to make a decision, whether you have a good combo or not, type of thing. So I do want to see how soon they want to sell. And also, I really get in front of this. Are you the only decision maker on this property? So if you guys have made some calls, you realize you make an offer, and they might come back and say, oh, let me speak to my wife. Or let me speak to this. I ask them before I even give them a number. I say, hey, oh, before I forget to ask, are you the only decision maker on this property? And they say, oh yeah, I'm the only decision maker. So if they do come back and try to say that, you're like, oh, I thought you were like the only decision maker, or they might even bring it up because they already showed you that. So that's like a big thing. And me, this is a big one. I set the right expectations. I'm straightforward with all of them. I say, hey, look, I am an investor. I'm buying property for the purpose of making a profit. I say, I'm not always the best fit for everybody, and I even let them know the other options they have. So say like a property back to like condition. They say, hey, my property's in pretty good condition. I just put a kitchen in there, I just put a bathroom, put a new roof. I say, oh, I mean, have you ever thought about listing the property? It sounds like it's in pretty good shape. And then you find out if you can still do business with them because they might say, yeah, but I got to move to California next week or something. And that kind of like lets you know, like, okay, this might still be a deal, this might not. But yeah, I'm okay with not doing the deal. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to just walk away from a deal, or if it's just not a good fit. So yeah, that's a big one. And then that's like what I kind of touched on earlier was I see what they're looking to get. I never ask, hey, what are you looking to get? I just say, hey, what do you think this property is worth in this as its condition? And then they kind of give you a number. If not, that's when I give them that ballpark offer. And most of the time it's a wide range. I give them a wide range. Because one thing I don't do is I don't run comps before I get them on the phone. Because like starting off, I used to just, before I made a call, I'd run comps for like 10, 15 minutes just to make sure if I did get them on the phone, I'm giving them a good offer that I can do. But then most of the time they don't pick up the phone. You wasted 20 minutes. You're like, oh man, like, so I wait to get them on the phone. And then while I'm talking to them, I might browse Zillow, might browse Realtor, might do all that stuff. And then I kind of come up. And if the combo kind of goes by quick, that's when I'll throw that ballpark offer. Say, hey, oh man, I mean, I'm not sure what I can do, but it'd be somewhere between 50 to 80. How do you feel about that? Then I kind of like narrow it down from there. So.
Do you reveal like your entity, like your LLC to the middle on the call?
If they ask. So now how I end all my calls is, cause like most of the time I'm not getting the deal off the first call. I would say, hey, oh, and you don't gotta say yeah. What I usually do is I can shoot you an email with my website, some info on us, so you kind of have some background info on like who we are, how that process would go if we were ever to do business. So one thing that does is when we get off the phone, they might look it up, they might not. But one, I have their email now. So if I ever wanted to shoot them an offer, I can just shoot them an offer if I know they have to sell. And two, they have my website, so they know who I am. It kind of builds legitness. They know it's kind of official. So yeah.
What do you say if you don't have an LLC? What do they ask about your company?
I just tell them, hey, like I only buy 2 or 3 a year. I buy them under my name. I mean, I partner up with other people. Usually I don't run into any issues after that, but yeah, it's actually not a big deal. I did my first deal without an LLC. But yeah, that's a good question. But the big thing here is follow up. It's all my deals, it's probably on like the 6th to 8th call that I'm actually getting under contract. And I think like when you guys see, like you guys that haven't done a deal yet, a lot of people are on the internet thinking like you're just gonna pull a list, you're gonna call for 2 weeks, that person's just gonna pick up and say, hey, I'm ready to sell for $50,000 and it's worth $150,000. Like it really is like just follow up. They're gonna, because these people that you're calling, you're not the only one calling them most of the time. So they're probably gonna go with the person that they're comfortable on the phone with, the person that keeps calling them every week. They're like, oh, he's on the ball. Like he wants this property. So I know if I am to sell it to him, he's gonna try to get it done. They're not probably gonna sell to the guy that calls once every 3 months. It's like, oh yeah, I remember you. Versus the other guy that's like calling every day, probably recognize the number and all that stuff.
I had a rental property, you mentioned TJ. I've never met him, but he hit me up nonstop wanting to buy it. Man, dude. But that's what it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, it's that follow up and you stand out. So even if Like, there's a lot of things with the follow-up is like, sometimes it's not even you, it's just their circumstance changed.
Yeah.
So like, say like TJ kept calling you, it's like, maybe you didn't want to sell now, but now you want to move to Texas and like.
I've heard about guys being so persistent that finally the seller is like, all right, buy the damn thing. So.
It happens though. That's
Yeah.
like, I hear that all the time. Like, you'll be surprised, guys. It all comes down, if you're willing to do the work, the deals are out there. Like, you can do the deal. I remember I met Chase before I ever did a deal. Like, I met Chase off Bigger Pockets, came here two years ago, never did a deal ever. Didn't know about real estate. Like,
Did my first meetup meeting.
yeah, like I was the first one, never did a deal ever. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a contract to send out. Nervous on the phone. Don't know what I'm gonna say. Like, and if you put in the work, like, it'll come. I promise. You just got. It's all about what you sacrifice.
I will say every deal, as you said, you get nervous and stuff. Every deal, every call you make, the next one gets easier. It's just experience. So,
Yep. Super easier. Like, it's cool to be nervous on the first. Use those first calls as like practice. Like, if it messes up, you're like, all right, cool. This is practice anyway. Like, if it is a deal, oh well. Like, I'll get it in a couple months when I'm better. You know what I'm saying? You just have to go through that process, but people don't want to go through that process. And one thing my mentor always tells me is like, don't fall in love with the result. Like, don't fall in love with the $10,000 check. Don't fall in love with the $20,000 check. Fall in love with you making 30 calls a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, fall in love with that. If you fall in love with that, like, the results are just gonna come. Like,
it's a numbers game. If you make 100 calls, you're gonna get one yes. That one yes is gonna make you 10 plus grand. So
exactly.
you make another 100, so it's a numbers game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So feel the fear and just do it anyway.
Do it anyway. It's a perfect one. Perfect quote. Yeah. So. So now I know, like, starting off, a big problem I had was estimating repairs. So one thing I would do, kind of start off, is maybe ask a few contractors, maybe call them up, even if you don't know them. And if you have pictures of a property, see if they'll answer and be like, hey, what would you offer to like fix this property up? And I'll call like 2 or 3, I average them out, kind of use that as a way. One thing I did a lot was ask other investors, like my mentor. I actually met him here at a meetup, and he was a speaker. So I just asked him, hey, what do you think what do you think needs to be repaired on this? And a lot of people will just help you out. Like, a lot of people will help more than you think. So that's the way. And then one I just wanted to throw in there was like, just go to Home Depot, Lowe's, see what stuff costs. You know what I'm saying? If you're ever like in Walmart, I know it was at Home Depot right beside, like, just walk in there, see what stuff costs, kind of just add on a couple hundred on each one and say, hey, this is what somebody would charge to put it in. You know what I'm saying? That'd give you a good idea. And then these are just some quick formulas I use. Most of the time, it doesn't give me much of a problem when I use them. If you're ever on the fly and want to give an offer. So like $25 per square foot for cosmetic work, that's more like carpet, paint, might need some new cabinets, a couple fixes here and there, you know. That'll give you a good base. $35, I'm probably doing that if it's a dated property, might need a new kitchen, need a new bathroom, AC HVAC system. Yeah, like stuff like that. Now, if it needs, like, you walk in this property and it's just horrible, I'm using $55, and that's a complete gut. You know, everything just needs to be replaced. Tenants can take care of it, or if it's been vacant for like 10 years or something crazy. That's kind of what I'm using for those. So, yeah. Now for running comps, I thought when you started off, I needed MLS access and I needed to be like a realtor and like all this stuff to kind of get like seeing what stuff is selling for. But nowadays, I literally use Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, and then these last two, usually they work sometimes. Sometimes the website doesn't work for some reason. But those are also some good ones that will show you some comps. Now, I'm not using the estimated values that Zillow gives me. I'm not using the one that Realtor gives me. Never. There's probably 120% times it's not right. But I'm looking at the ones that are like selling. So we'll use this example right here that I got. This is a deal I recently did in Winchester.
Yeah,
Do you ever use PropStream?
that's what we're doing.
Every now and then, but I mostly use Zillow
I have some that,
and Realtor.
if tenants moved out or certain situations, I would definitely sell if I could find a deal for 1031.
Do you find Realtor, Redfin,
Yeah, but
all these other
I'm
sites
saying like just
capturing data in the outer skirts of Harrisonburg?
So what do you mean by outskirts? Like
So like
Broadway?
Stanton or
Yeah, no,
in
actually.
areas that doesn't really have, doesn't capture everything or does it give you a good picture?
Good, yeah, so Zillow and Realtor, good. Redfin
Yeah.
is probably only gonna be the bigger cities. That's kind of what I've seen, just by looking at comps. But Realtor is pretty good, Zillow's pretty
Yeah.
good, just by pulling the comps. Now, what I do when I'm pulling the comps, so this is the deal I did, right? And ARV I had came up with is 230. As you can see, his estimate is nowhere near 230. So what I did, I'll get out of here. What I'll do is I'll put it for all the sold.
Like kind of the craziest thing.
Then also I want to do sold in the last 12 months.
It's a heavy lift. I've got two other partners I'm looking at with it.
Right.
And
I'll zoom out a little bit.
53.
Now those are all the properties that are sold in the last 12 months around there.
Never did anything to it.
And what I'll do is I'll just browse, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of see what things are selling for around there.
Turn around.
Um,
Not too long term.
Now you're not always gonna find like a property that's like the same exact size,
1, 2.
but you try to just kind of keep it close. So, like this one that I was doing was
We had to come up with.
3 bed, 1 bath, 1,200 square feet, I think. So like this one has an extra bath, about 600 more square feet, 700 more square feet, but it's sold for 250. So what I would do if like, say this was the best comp I found, I would say, okay, well, this is kind of bigger. I'll look at the condition of it.
Yeah, exactly.
These pictures are, and it's not that many pictures, but hopefully it'll have some more pictures on there. And so say this was completely renovated, sold for 256. I would say, okay, my 3 bed, 1 bath, 1,200 square foot would sell for like a 230 or something, you know what I'm saying, 225 or something. And then I'll just keep looking. I'll just keep looking for something. Now, I think the one I use the most is Realtor.
2 to 3 years.
Is there a amount of distance that you cut off the sold properties, of how close they are to the one they're looking at?
Yeah, so it depends on what area. So like if I'm in like Broadway, Virginia, where it's like every property is spread out and they're not close to each other, I'll probably go out, depending on how close one comp is, I might go out like 5-10 miles out or something like that. Versus if you're like downtown Harrisonburg, there's gonna be a lot like sold in like a couple streets. I might just go like maybe just 3 or 4 streets out, wherever like in that radius or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys have used Realtor, but so this is the property, and if you scroll down, it'll show you like literally all the recently sold properties and what they're selling for right here. And this is probably my favorite. I'll probably use this the most when I'm making offers. But yeah, just kind of look around, try to find houses that are kind of similar, kind of come up with my assessment, what I feel. Yeah, that's kind of how I run comps. So those were 3, these were 3 that I kind of pulled on here. And then, so making offers, I know it can feel like nerve-wracking when you're making that offer, like I said. You can feel kind of nervous. You might feel like they're about to curse you out. You're going to give them a low offer. But this is just a good formula to use. You've probably seen it before. So you get the properties at the repair value if it was completely renovated. And you times it by 0.7. And then you subtract the repairs that you think it needs and whatever assignment fee you're trying to make. And that's the highest amount that you can offer on that property. So for example, that deal that I did, ARV was around 230 times about 0.7 is 161. Needed about 50K repairs. And I said that if I want a 5K fee, the best I can offer is 106 on that. I ended up, so it's funny, I ended up drawing like, I think 5 buyers were interested in this one. I drove up there, actually drove up this time. And we met, and I think I marketed it out at 106, wait, what did I market it out at? 111, maybe. And then I ended up getting a buyer. I ended up getting this property on the contract for 97K actually. So I got it for 97K, and then the buyers bid it up, and I sold it for 118. And this is earlier this month. So, yeah. One tip that I can use, and I try to use it on for cash buyers is schedule it for other people, everybody to go see it at once. You know what I'm saying? Like schedule, and then also it helps you out if there's a tenant in there, or there's like if the owner has to drive far to come meet people to come get them in. Make his life easy. You just schedule for everybody to come out at once, so you know you can get all the offers at once. Then have to keep coming out, and just in case nobody wants it, you can still schedule another time for other buyers to come out. Because when you're doing this business, you realize that when you tell them you only have to come see it once or twice, and you come to see the property like 8-10 times, and in between like the 30 days, he's like, all right, what's going on? He's gonna be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I thought you were a cash buyer. You've seen this house 10 times. I don't know what's going on. So,
Do you ask for a 30-day inspection period?
Yeah. And now sometimes I don't get the 30 days, right?
Yeah.
But if I feel like it was a good price, I'll say, okay, we can do 21 days to see if he likes that. Okay, and then maybe we can do 14 days. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes I've gotten a deal, I put it under 7 days just because I knew I had buyers that wanted. And it's like, that's enough time to get it sold. But I do try to do 30 days.
On the 45-day.
45-day close.
Yeah.
So for the 7 day, do you put the as is or contingency clause or?
With the seller?
Well, the 7 day, yeah, close.
Yeah, so that's the 7 day, I never do a 7 day close, but I do a 7 day study. Yeah,
But what do you promise the seller as far as closing time?
Yeah.
There's all you hear about when do you get your money, when do you get the money?
right, so I ask them first, I say, how soon do you need to close? Because if they need to close next week, that's gonna change my pricing. I'm gonna say, hey, look, I need to get this, if you want to close in 7 days, I'm gonna need this at 100K or something, like I give them the lower price. And that's where I wanna see how soon they need to close before we even talk about price. But say like, we talk about price, and it says he needs to close in a certain amount of period, I still let them know, I don't know if we can buy it until we run our study period. Whatever. So I make him that promise. I say, hey, look, I think we can do it. I just need to get approval for 1 or 2 guys, and I can let you know, and we can close whenever you need to close. But I try to give my buyers at least 15 days, because I know, and then also put on or about on the contract. Because I know, if you guys try to close a deal or try to close a real estate transaction, it's not gonna close on the day you want it to.
And you know, there are too many hands in the bucket, you have the attorney to close it, and you never know, maybe the buyer is ready and the funding is there.
Right. It's just a whole lot that goes into it.
Right.
That it's like, you're just like on or about, and they know. There's a couple deals, like those, instead of them 10 deals, probably 3 or 4 of them haven't closed yet. I'm still waiting like for it to close, so.
So how often do you end up with the property yourself?
Zero. Are you saying like, oh, my buyer can't buy it at the
So
end
you
of the
end
day?
up, not, I mean, with, by choice, not buying.
0. Yeah, I haven't.
So with the study period, he can't find the buyers, he's opted out.
Yeah, I have a clause in there where if we can't buy it, I just have to let them know within the study period that we can't buy it.
Yeah.
So I send them an email if I can get them on the phone. I'll send them a text just so it's in writing.
Yeah.
I say, hey, look, we can't buy it. It's our last day on the study. I'm sorry. And then I give them. So I try to tell my buyers like, if they can't do the price that I got it out at, I say, give me your highest and best. So say I have the seller at 90K and I have it out at 100K. and my buyer comes back and says, hey, and I needed it like 77 or something. But okay, then if I don't find a buyer, at the end of the study period, I'll go back to my seller and say, hey, sorry. I try to get them on the phone. This is not email. It's better on the phone. I'll get them on the phone and say, hey, look, we just can't quite do it at that number, but I've had like 5, 6 people contact me that I could partner with, and the best number I got out of all of them is 77, or I'll say 75, so I can make my short fees or whatever it is. And then it's either take it or leave it at that point. Like sometimes they go down a little bit, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I try to get my buyers just to give me like the highest and best if they are interested. So, good point. Yeah. Also, this is one day I wanted to talk about. This is my first deal I ever did. This is in 2019. It's funny. I had read the Think and Grow Rich book. I don't know if you guys read that book. And it's just saying like take action, right? Like even if you don't know, like just take action. And a lot of stuff will just kind of fall into place. So I was doing this, trying to wholesale for 6.5 months at this point. I think that's when that first meeting was here, and I came out here, and that's when I met Kyle, who's my mentor. And I just kind of just started taking action, right? Like even if I didn't know everything, just take action, no matter what. And I had pulled, like I said, I had no money. I pulled a free tax delinquent list from the county, made a cold call on my phone, and she was actually behind on her taxes and her mortgage. So she had to sell the house in a week. She had 7 days to do something with the property. Before it foreclosed. So I ended up calling her. She sent me pictures of the property. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm nervous on the call. I don't know what I'm saying. I've never purchased a property, never had one under contract. Just saying, hey, like we bought property, whatever. I don't have the LLC. I don't have all that. But I called her and said, hey, look, like, and I told her actually, because 7 days is a tough close. I don't know, like, that's a tough, to find a buyer and actually get it closed and recorded in 7 days is hard. So I told her straight up, I said, look, I don't know if I can get it done, but I can try in 7 days. So we agreed to a price. She sent me the pictures. So I had it at 106, and I had no buyers out there. Literally no buyers. Kyle doesn't even buy in Lynchburg. He doesn't even, that's not his market. And Kyle was like the only guy that I knew for sure he's legit. Like he was a legit buyer. So I sent it to him anyway and said, hey, like I got a property contract in Lynchburg. Like you want to check it out? He's like, oh, nah, it's not my market, but like, what do you got? And I sent him the details, sent him the pictures. He's like, okay, I'll ride down there tomorrow. He ride down there tomorrow. He liked it. We ended up agreeing to 113, made 7K, and he got it closed in like 2 days. And that's still the fastest deal I've ever done. So that's not, that doesn't happen every day.
How does the title work even get done?
I don't know what all happened. I just remember he told me he pulled some money out of his 401k or his wife's 401k to get it done. And he did a lot. But basically, like, the thesis of this is, like, just take action. Like, if you take action, like, stuff would just align. Like, that wasn't supposed to happen. He doesn't even buy in Lynchburg. But, like, that just happened. And then, you know, they call your first check, like, your shut-up check. Like, I know you probably tell your family, oh, I want to wholesale. Probably like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? You don't even have a license, a real estate license or whatever. So, I mean, that's just this is my first deal. And I never seen the property. Never went and seen it in person.
You did that from Sean Terry?
What?
The shut-up check?
Yeah, I got that from Sean Terry.
He said that event, and he was talking about that. He's so funny.
Yeah, people will, once you make that first check, it's like people don't believe until it actually happens, but that's just life. So that happened. So yeah, I found my buyer here. Literally, we had the meeting. I think 2 weeks later is when I got this deal. Right after that, so just take action.
What was his numbers on that? Do you remember? I was just curious.
On like what he made?
Didn't he have to put like 20 or 30 in it, and he was like gonna flip it for 210 or something? Was that it?
He ended up, yeah. And like, so I knew he was kind of like lowballing me, But I had no choice. Like, I was just like, oh, I mean, you're the only buyer I got anyway. I'd be cool with $5,000. Like, but he, yeah, I think he sold it for $214 on the market. And he only put a little bit in it. Like, he didn't need that much work. But yeah, he was able to get it done quick. So
it probably wasn't even 20 then, you're thinking?
he probably needed, I think it was hardwood flooring. It didn't even need flooring. It needed some paint.
I didn't realize how
siding maybe clean, siding needed to
just touch up stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was only an hour from Charlottesville to Front Royal. I mean, to Lynchburg. So I was like, I don't know how he found the contractors that quick, but
Yeah. It was probably like a couple day trip
yeah.
at most.
Yeah.
Nah, I know he made a good profit off that one. So that was a pretty good flip. But yeah, so like say I didn't have Kyle, say I got that property under contract. These are just some ways you can find buyers. Like Luke was saying, you want to make sure it's okay to put these bandit signs out. You want to keep like breaking the law. But yeah, you just put on the bandit sign.
With the bandit sign, get like a burner phone, put that number on there.
Yeah, put like a Google, I know Google Voice, you can get like a number on there. There's like other websites you can use. But yeah, don't put I wouldn't recommend putting your real number on there. Just for a lot of reasons.
Burner app is another one, $5 a month.
Which one is that?
Burner app.
Yeah, so.
For a phone?
Yeah, for a number, $5 a month.
Same with Craigslist, don't put your number on Craigslist either, your real number.
Yeah.
Those, yeah.
How's that?
Can you text with that?
Yeah, you can text. I don't know like if there's a limit on how many texts or anything, but when it calls you, it'll show up as your burner phone number is how you know. It's definitely not sophisticated, but
You know the number, right? The phone.
yeah, like if somebody wants to, I have a burner app for my for a property I have.
Yeah.
I can just, if you want to just look at it, I can show you what it kind of looks like.
So Google Voice, I think you have with either Google Voice or Gmail, you can get a phone number.
Yeah, I think with that, because and maybe Brian, if you know, I don't know if you have like an app on here, like you can do on your phone.
And it's for free.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you do everything the same, but it might be
text
good.
everything.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is it's only giving you one phone number per account.
Mhm.
And when you end up doing it, if you have, let's say you have different local numbers, Lynchburg, Stanton, whatever,
Right,
you have to switch the application.
right, yeah.
And the other thing, at least, because the last time I tried Google Voice was a couple of years, the other thing was like the voicemails. I was having issues with that. Like it was either when they connected you, it was like clearly like you were not connecting to Google Voice. It's like,
Yeah,
You can take that out too, you're right.
And then it was also like the voicemail, there was something else with it, where the voicemail didn't seem legit. So I was like,
Good
it's
one.
only $5 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the one you're talking about?
It's called Burner app.
Burner app.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I might have to try that. Cause it's a turn off when somebody calls that number and it's like, hey, you have now reached a Google Voice number. And you're like, oh man, I've seen this sign on the side of the road. I don't know if I wanna keep calling them.
But that way you know when it's coming in, like, you use CallRail too, right?
I don't, but I know what CallRail's about.
Like, cause maybe you can change it on CallRail, I don't know, but it's like the number will just come in. And then the only way I know it's a CallRail number is that when I put it to my ear, it's like, please press 1 to get connected to your call. Whereas Burner app, it's actually the number on your phone, so you know, like, hey, it's this number that you paid for is calling you, so you know it's a bandit sign or whatever.
So you know it's business as opposed to personal.
Right, and I was about to say, can you have multiple numbers? Like, say you have one for direct mail, and then you wanna.
You could, but I think it's like another $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just add it by that, but I'm not sure. I've only just done it for one number.
Got you.
And you can keep that number for as long as you're renewable.
Yeah, I've had this one for 3 years.
Now, yeah, I might have to check that out. But yeah, so the bandit signs, you got Facebook Marketplace. That's probably my bread and butter right now, especially virtually. You just find everybody's on Facebook. So especially if you're a buyer, you're probably looking, you're browsing every now and then. Facebook Marketplace is a great one. You might even find somebody that wants to buy that property. They're not even an investor, but they can pay cash. Sometimes they pay way more than an investor. So that's one. Craigslist, obviously.
If your seller finds your Facebook list, like you were.
That's a good question. No, that has happened to me before. So, so now that I've been doing it for a while, I don't automatically just list it on Facebook. I'll blast it out to my buyers list first. So I keep it private first. And say a week goes by or like 3 or 4 days go by, I don't get anybody. I'll tell, sometimes I would tell the seller and say, hey, look, my partner that I was gonna go with on this, he doesn't really want it, but I have a few other people that I can do it with. Nothing will change other than who's gonna purchase it. And I just have to blast it out to them. And then I don't technically say I'm gonna post it on Facebook, but then say they do see it on Facebook or they do see it on Craigslist. Then I say, this just goes back to like what I was saying, my partner just couldn't do it, but I was just seeing if somebody else can do it. I mean, nothing's gonna change. And then if they ask, say I have it under contract for $90K and I got it on Facebook for like $119 or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they say, oh, like, what is this about? I just say, oh, like, I mean, that's just to draw an interest. That's just to draw an interest. That doesn't mean that's what I'm gonna get right now. I don't know what I'm gonna get. That's just to throw it out there, see if somebody would be interested. Sometimes I get mad. Sometimes I'll even drop it. Say like if I haven't found a buyer and he gets mad, I'll say, okay, well, I mean, if you're not, like, I'm willing to walk away from a deal. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of keeps your leverage. You know what I'm saying? You don't want the deal more than they want to sell their property. So if they're like giving the attitude that it's on Facebook, it's like, hey, look, I have a few people that can buy it at this price. They might want to come check it out. But I mean, if you want to just release it, I mean, what else are you going to do? What's your other option?
To your point, actually, if they're motivated enough, they'll ask you, should be thankful because they're gonna say, keep it on, because we need to sell.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's a good point. You're at the end of the day, guys, like, you're not even buying property. You're like solving property. Like, because most of the time, anybody can, I'd say 90% of the properties, I don't know, I'm just throwing numbers, like, they're going on the market. You know what I'm saying? You can easily call a realtor up, list it on the market. That's the traditional way. So like, if you do have something where you do have it under contract, most of the time they have a problem they need to solve anyway. So that's just a good way to kind of look at it.
And you ever use a realtor? Oh, my bad. No, you're good. Go ahead. Do you use a realtor to find a buyer?
Yeah, a lot of times virtually. Like virtually, I've only done 2 virtual deals. Like I said, I just started kind of, I still feel like I'm early. But yeah, one thing I do, and I learned this from Sean Terry. I watch a lot of Sean Terry videos, Maxwell videos. I'm always still trying to learn. But one thing Sean Terry does is if he's in a virtual market where he's never done a deal, he's going to go to Zillow and he's going to go to realtors in that zip code and he's going to email the whole first page of those realtors. He's going to go to realtor, he's going to do the same thing.
The thing with realtors is they all got investors in their pocket.
Yep.
So they all know who to call.
Yep. Realtors, they're the connection.
Especially in this market, because there's nothing on market. Like, I have a lot of investors right now that, yeah.
You a realtor?
Yeah, like realtors they're gonna plug you in for sure. And I always tell realtors, like, you're gonna get a commission. I keep it, like, I tell them in the beginning, because there's a lot of people, especially starting off, you think you're just gonna get a realtor that's gonna make you the connection. Like, they're not gonna move if they don't have an incentive as well.
Well,
that goes for everything.
Like, depending on our client, if they're flippers, like, we list it for them. So, like.
Yeah, that too. I know one thing.
Good relationships with realtors that help too.
Yeah, not for sure, for sure. I know one thing with my mentor, what he does is like, if a realtor brings him a deal, he'll say you'll get the listing. Like, he keeps that promise. So if they do bring him a deal or it's a lead that's they're not actually going to list it, they'll say, hey Kyle, like, I got this lead. If you get another contract, whatever, he'll say, okay, like, you'll get the listing when I get done flipping it. So he kind of works something out like that.
Can you get in trouble posting a listing on Facebook Marketplace without a real estate license?
No. So you just have to make sure that your contract has marketability in it. And I have a clause in there where it says, like, I can market my property, or I have full rights to market your property without your consent. As long as it's not on the MLS though. I'm not listed on the MLS. Now, like, one thing about Sean Terry, and I don't know if you guys know who Sean Terry is. He's like the grandfather of wholesaling. Like, he's just like the LeBron James.
Just looking what one YouTube.
And he's been doing it since the beginning of time. But he started to do a thing where I haven't done it before, but he would even put a clause in there where he is able to list it on the MLS. And he lists it on the MLS and just markets it and says cash buyers only. And he gets his biggest spreads, obviously, with doing that because you reach the most people.
How do you market on that unless, I thought you had to be a realtor to post.
There's, he gave out a website, it was called like brokerlist.com. I don't know if that's actually it, but there's some websites where you can get some, what he's doing is he's getting somebody to list it for like a flat fee, whether it's like $100 or like something like that. And he's just willing to pay it because it's just gonna be on the MLS. I know that's how he does it. And I'm not sure if there's another way you can just straight list it or not.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, you can do.
You have to be.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry, you could answer too, I didn't know.
Yeah, do you have to be a realtor?
So they're on the MLS, yeah, there are placement only services, so like you pay them to list it and then it's just your number on there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously as a realtor, I'm not gonna recommend that, but it's.
In internal remarks would have like your direct contact information, so it's on top, contact the agent.
Okay.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, it's not done very often, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in there.
Would you guys do that?
No.
Can you get in trouble with your office?
It's a company policy.
Yeah, our company policy will not, and all they do is put it on the MLS, so like you're still responsible for, you don't have any representation. So.
Gotcha.
Good point. Yeah, so like these are just like some ways to find buyers. Like I said, I found my buyer here at one of these meetings. Now that we're doing more in person, I'm gonna try to go to some all over like kind of the state, just to kind of develop relationships, meet people that I've met only online, type of thing. Like I said, Facebook groups, there's Facebook groups like this one. I think this Facebook group is called like Harrisonburg Real Estate Investors. Say you get a deal in Richmond, there's a lot of Richmond groups. There's like Richmond Cash Buyers, Virginia Cash Buyers, Real Estate Investors in Virginia. I join all these groups, so when I get a deal, I'll put it in all these groups just to kind of see if I can find somebody. And then other wholesalers, like there's like one thing I wanted to like tell y'all, especially the ones that haven't got a deal, like there's like a lot of deals out here. Like never think there's not enough deals for everybody. And yeah, I would connect with as much wholesalers as you can. They probably have a couple buyers where that deal does work with them and not none of your buyers, and you just split the deal. Like it's just the cost of doing business. So a couple good ways. So yeah, this was an example. This is the one in Harrisonburg. So like I was saying earlier, when I get another contract, I'm not automatically putting it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm gonna blast it out to my cash buyers first, and this is kind of how it looks like on the email blast. So I'll put like property address, what I'm asking, put a picture of it. I'll let them know it's cash buyers, some just info on it, bedroom, bathroom, then just any like facts I know about the property, I'll put it on there. Put the ARV on there.
Do you have that one on the contract yet? I saw that one online too.
What, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that hasn't closed yet, actually.
That's 45.
This is the 45, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm waiting for it to get done. But okay. Yeah, this one, and I thought Kate was gonna, I seen Kate commented on the post. Kate was one of the buyers that was interested in this one. But yeah, go ahead.
With Make Construction, Kate?
Yeah, because this one came with an extra lot in the back.
Nice.
And you can split it off and sell it. If you want to sell it, build on it, whatever, but
Is that a different parcel or the same parcel?
Same, so it would have to still be surveyed and do that. But there is, as road frontage, they already, when the sellers bought this one, it was split, and I think they made it into one.
So at one point it was two.
Yeah, it was two.
Does it have easement or right of?
No, so it's like right there on the road. There's like so the way it is like a property, and then there's actually another road in the back, and so it's just right there in the front road.
So it has its own driveway?
Its own driveway, everything, type of thing.
Is it a road, like the mailing address road, or is it an alley?
Nah, mailing address
road. Nice.
Yeah, it's like there's other homes on that other side of the street, type of thing.
Did you say still available or?
Technically it's not. I mean, hopefully my buyer doesn't back out on me. Yeah, hopefully my buyer doesn't back out on me. Because he's actually going on vacation soon, so hopefully we can get it closed.
How does the actual like assignment of the contract, what does that look like?
What do you mean?
Like, you get it under contract, how does, like, your buyer, how do they have it under contract? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. So like with my sellers, I have a purchase agreement and I sign that, say I sell it for 100K and I want to sell it for 110. I will send my buyer a separate contract, which is an assignment contract. And it'll say, okay, we're assigning this contract that's dated this date. And I'll put the 110 on there. It'll say it's a $10,000 fee. And I'll send him a copy of my purchase agreement. So he knows, he's gonna know what the fee I'm making. Now this one, I'm double closing on this one.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to know just cause like, I don't know how people would react if they know you're gonna make that type of fee. But yeah, so most of the time my buyers know what I'm gonna make. And most of the time they don't have an issue with it because they're not gonna buy something that the numbers don't work anyway.
Do you find some title companies are better to work with than others with like wholesale? I just know like the last one we used Stewart Title, they were like, what is this?
Yes, that's a great point. Like, I mean, there's some, and I'm still trying to find one that can get stuff done pretty good. But also like me being virtual, I'm really just kind of going off what my buyers want to use. I'll ask my buyer like who they use and I'll just go with like whatever they use.
Is there anyone who's local that you recommend?
So I used the one Chase gave me, David Reed. Well, he's an attorney and he's in Luray. So I've been using him. This is actually this one. It just had some title issues. So I can't really give a good, I've only had one experience with
For
it.
a normal transaction, Westview Title is pretty good,
But one person is staying Lily and Title Settlement.
Yeah, I've used them before and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Like literally the best company I use. They have an online platform where like it's like shows you the status of the closing and stuff like that.
Right.
And then for my next deal, like a couple weeks later, I called them and I couldn't get them to answer the phone. So I went elsewhere. And they're actually handling a closing right now for me, and they were very tentative, answer the phone right away, emails right away. But for that, some reason in the middle of it, I don't know what was going on, but they wouldn't answer the phone.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I don't know if you know Carl Mosad.
No.
His name. He's one of my buyers out there. Every time I get something, I give him some. He runs the pallet company. He has a pallet company out there. But yeah, he's the one that recommended Lily Title. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like we can do it. They close everything in like 2 weeks.
Lily Title and Settlement? Lily Stanton? Yeah.
Yeah, they're staying. So everything I get in staying Waynesboro, I'm probably gonna just use them. Yeah, deal with Rebecca out there.
Are there jurisdictions as far as title companies or?
Just the state.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So with Lily,
It's just about how far people want to drive.
Yeah, so a lot of the time I'm doing, I'm telling my sellers, I say, hey, look, and even you don't even have to come to closing. We can send it to you and you can get it notarized. You don't even have to leave. And so a lot of times, like the one, I think I closed one in Waynesboro. We used, one of my buyers in Richmond actually wanted it, and he wanted to use his Richmond title company. So I just told him, hey, look, we can use this Richmond one. You don't even have to come out there, and we'll get it notarized overnight or whatever and sent back. So
on a double closing, are you using the funds from the end buyer to pay for the double closing, or is that possible or you have to have your own funds?
I feel like, so I think my mentor did that once. I don't always see it happening, but nah, I'm actually using my mentor's funds. He's gonna help me just fund it and he's gonna do it. And I'm just gonna pay him, I think 3 points on it.
Okay.
Where just for letting me hold the cash. And then I know I have to pay for closing costs on my end. And then when my buyer uses, he'll pay the closing costs on that second one. But yeah, I have heard people do that before, but I don't want to say yeah because I've never done it.
Yeah, I heard it in a podcast one time, but I didn't know if it was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't know anyone that's done it personally, but I've heard about it.
Yeah. Because I almost put it in the contract where it said, when I spoke to him, my mentor, he was just saying like, hey, put it in there that the funds that he's using is actually going to be used for yours. But yeah, I was just looking into it a little more before you make that decision.
You guys use closure title and settlement?
Have I used closure? Or Kyle? Yeah, he did. That's out in Charlottesville, right?
Well, they have a branch in San too,
Okay.
so I think that one it's the wholesale skeleton center.
You're not. Closure, I've definitely heard of Closure. They're pretty good.
Would you mind sharing one of your contracts, or some of your contracts, or your contracts?
Yeah, if you guys want to like shoot me an email or whatever, I can send it to you. I just don't have it with me. But yeah, my email, you guys want to write it down, is Brian, BRIAN, at climaxproperties.com. And just shoot me an email and I'll shoot you guys what I use.
Thank you.
Yep. Now, so when dealing with the buyers and sellers, so say you have it under contract now, and you want to just, and now you're doing the viewings. So now the buyers want to come see the property, and you set it up. So from the get-go, I set the right expectations with my seller and my buyer. So I tell the seller, hey, look, this offer isn't set in stone until we run our study period, just to make sure nothing catches us by surprise, and my financial partners approve it. And then also, just so if I know there's going to be like 4, 5, 6 buyers wanting to come out to this property, I just say, hey, look, there's a few people that I could potentially partner with. I'm just not sure who I'm going to go with yet. So when they do see 5, 6 people show up, they're not like, hey, what's going on? I just say, these are people I've partnered with in the past. I'm not sure who's going to give me the best deal, but I can let you know after they leave, and I get to talk to each one. So the key here is just setting the right expectations. I think when something catches you by surprise, that's usually when you have a problem with it. But when you tell people what they're getting into, they can either take it or leave it. So that's kind of like the key here. Now, so I know a lot of people usually ask me questions on virtual wholesaling. Because there's a million markets that you can go into, right? You can pick any market. And these are just some things I look at when I'm picking a virtual market. I want to pick a market that has a lot of cash buyer activity. Like, I don't want to market out, pull a list, skip trace them, text them, call them, get someone under contract just to find out there's nobody that will even buy these properties. There's a lot of areas that just don't have that much cash buyer activity, and I'm not going to try to get deals in the places. And one thing, you can go on PropStream, just how we kind of try to pull it up. It'll show you, you can like filter it out and do all cash transactions in the last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. And it'll show you a list of those as well. Also, for the markets I'm picking, I want my median property value to be in the range of, it's kind of wide, but 75 to 250. In the range, I find out that like if a property's in the 300s, 400s, 500K, it's hard to wholesale those properties because you just need a big spread on those. So your sweet spot is going to be somewhere in there, and then there are more cash buyers in that sweet spot. There's not a lot of cash buyers that want to flip a $500,000 home. So I try to stay in that, and these are some good websites. Actually, we can go to one. I use these websites myself. This is a great one right here. So this is just going to give you like some background information on that city. Boom. So it'll give you like a full breakdown of the city. It might be a little dated in some areas, but it at least gives you a good background on it. And this is what I do when I'm picking a virtual market. So it has 50K population, median property value 203. It's not bad. And then it just shows you like everything that's kind of going on in this area. So even COVID, even tell you the COVID cases.
I think it tells you also, but demographically speaking, who the clientele is, what percent is this versus that, right?
Yep, it does, yep. employment diversity, you go right here. Tell you all of that. So that's kind of what I do. I know the main things I look at is population. I want to make sure it's enough people in the population, and the median property value.
Property value has gone up quite a bit since then.
Yeah. So a couple key pointers. Look at. Like I said, I'm still early. I pull like sample lists. Sometimes I pull lists in some cities, never got a deal and spent a lot of money on skip tracing. But I mean, that's just the risk I'm willing to take to find the market I want to hit. So yeah, a couple of websites.
Have you thought about trying like the handwritten direct mail or like the services form?
I think one of my friends said he did it and it worked pretty good. But I know for direct mail, I'd probably do, me personally speaking, I'd probably do postcard just because it's a little cheaper versus like the whole letter and envelope and all that.
Yeah.
It can get a little pricey. I don't know if you guys have done direct mail.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a company out of Florida, I think it is. I forget the guy's name. He's all over Instagram, Facebook.
Ryan Gossi?
He drives the Viper. Yeah, that's him. He has things called ballpoint marketing.
Yeah, that's what
And they'll send out like handwritten letters. So it looks like not just a type letter someone's getting, like it's actual personal. Yeah.
And they'll do like big lists as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his.
You got a crew, like,
Yeah.
he has a crew, it's 37 cents, I think, per piece.
Yeah, it's not a terrible price.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it adds up obviously, but yeah.
It works.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I seen, I don't know if you guys, how much research you guys do, but there's this one guy called Flip with Rick on YouTube. Super good. He gives out a lot of game.
Flip with Rick?
Flip with Rick.
Okay, no.
It's actually a guy, his name, Rick is the dad, and now his son runs a YouTube channel.
Rick passed away.
Did he?
I think we're talking about the same guy.
I've seen Rick in a couple of videos, so I'm not sure. But Rick, he did the business. Now he taught his son how to do the business. His son was like 16, 17 years old, did like 100K while he was in college, doing it part-time. And he literally gives out so much game. Like his purpose in the real estate world is to kill all the gurus. Like, so he's giving out everything that people are charging, and he's putting it on his YouTube channel. So if you guys did want to check him out, he's giving out all the secrets. If you ever want to, if you think there are some secrets. So yeah, and then one thing I actually pulled from Flip with Rick was a proof of concept. So back to what I was saying, like there's enough deals for everybody that like don't want to choose like this small town in like Idaho that like nobody's marketing. You're like, oh, I'm just going to be the only wholesaler out there and I'm going to do like 10 deals. And then you realize properties stay on the market for 500 days or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's buying out there. So you want to just find proof of concept where you see people out there doing deals, where there's cash buyers out there. And you can find a lot on Facebook groups and even just look on Zillow and Realtor Trends. Usually if they don't have any data on there, it's probably not that good of a market anyway. So if it is on Zillow and Realtor, you see it going up, that's a good indicator as well on virtual wholesaling. So like structuring the deal virtually, like I think people overthink it. It's literally just like my local deals. Nothing really changes. I still lock up, even my local deals, I still lock them up over the phone. I don't see the property before I lock it up, and I send it over to DocuSign. The only thing that is different is you never see the property, even if you wanted to, just because it's as far away. So the pros, you don't have to leave your house at all. You get it under contract. Now the cons, you can't be there to get pictures. Sometimes the sellers don't want to take pictures or they don't live in the property. So that's the tough thing about it. You just got to find somebody that can take pictures. And then also a tough thing that could be tough starting out, especially when you don't want like somebody to go behind your back when you have someone under contract, is you're not there when your buyers walk through the property. So I'd say 95% of the time, your buyers are not going to go behind your back because a big thing in real estate is like reputation. So if you go behind somebody's back, you're going to be known as the guy going behind somebody's back and nobody's ever gonna send you deals again, type of thing. So most of the time, they're not gonna go behind your back. Just gotta make sure they're legit. They're not gonna, if somebody just messing around with you. And then one thing that can help you with getting the pictures are like freelancers on Craigslist, Facebook, and even some realtors that had just started in the business that they're just kind of looking for something to do, get a couple, some cash. I know for me, I pay, if a realtor can go look at a property for me, I pay from 50 to $100 just for them to go take pictures for me. And I pay them on PayPal where like the funds aren't released until like I get the pics. But that's just another way to kind of get around that barrier. So yeah, guys, I mean, the key here, get offers in, sign the deal. That's kind of how you get paid. You find the motivated sellers, whether it's banner signs, texting, calling, direct mail. Then market it out to your buyers, email blast, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. And there's a couple other websites you could probably just find. I think like Connected Investors is like a website where a lot of real estate people are. You can probably just post it on there if you have some free time. So, and one thing I actually found with finding buyers, it's almost like finding a seller that wants to sell too. Like market out hard to find a buyer as well. Like if you market out hard to try to find a buyer, you can probably squeeze the deal out. Versus if you just kind of post it and let it sit and just never like call people, you might lose out on the deal. Versus if you really push it out there. But yeah, then schedule a viewing with all your buyers, sign the contract, send it over to the title company and get paid. So this is one thing right here at the bottom, just kind of what my mentor was telling me, like take action, focus on solving problems and everything else will kind of take care of itself. So
you get paid once the closing goes through and everything, right?
yeah, you get paid the same day as like the seller and all that stuff.
Does the seller ever see the signed contract?
So you saying, do they ever see like what you get?
You'll see settlement.
Yeah.
I know it kind of, I think it's
listed, but it's million, gazillion.
If they search it, they can find it, but most of them just look at the final price, what they're getting.
right.
If you look at the attorney has a bunch of lists, like charges, and they don't really explain what they want.
Yeah.
Right. And then also I've seen, I think it kind of maybe depends on the title company as well, or if you say it, but there's like two sides of the HUD where you can just put it on the buyer's side, I think. I've never actually asked, 'cause, I mean, like you said, they don't really look.
No, like the actual contract, they won't see like the one you guys signed.
No, oh no, they never see that one. The one I sent to my buyer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I guess that.
yeah, they never see that one, so.
How many deals have they back out of? Like you couldn't find a buyer.
Where I couldn't find a buyer?
Yeah.
Plenty. So like, I mean, not more than I've done, because I don't like to just get something on the contract, market it out, take pics, because I'm just wasting time at that point.
But against the numbers game, so.
That too. Like if I feel like I can squeeze a deal, I'll try it. I'll say, hey, look, let me get 14 days. And I'm always straightforward with them though. I'm not telling them like, hey, I can do it, just to sign it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, hey, look, I still need to come see it once or twice.
Yeah.
I still need to, like, I don't know if I can actually do it. And that's kind of, so then if you do need to talk them down or if something like that happens or you need to back out, you kind of understand. And I still follow up with the people I had to drop out a contract with. Maybe like a month or two goes by and they could do 20,000 less. Like, you never know. You never know. Always follow up. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. If anybody had any questions or something
Once
like
you
that.
secure a deal or once you get a contract signed, how quickly do you move on to the next? Or when you get it signed, you just focus on that one until you get that one closed and then move on to something else? Or
So you mean if I sign with a seller, like how long do I market it? Or
for example, you get them to sign it and whatnot, you get the deal signed or the contract.
I think he's asking how many deals do you do at once?
Yeah, how many deals do you get once?
as many as I can do.
Yeah.
You just continue.
Yeah, I mean, so like that's the thing too. So right now I'm still kind of early on. I do want to build a team eventually where I don't have to wear 10 hats at once. But yeah, I try to do as much as I can. Like right now, I have like 2 in Winchester that I still haven't got over to take pictures of and market it out. And I've had them on the contract for like 4 days. I just haven't been able to go out there. But yeah, I just try to do as much as I can. And that's why I do the 30-day study period. Because like stuff just happens. And say if I did find a buyer, you might not be able to go see it until 2 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? So you want to give yourself enough time to get these properties sold. So I think that 30 days is like a sweet spot.
Do you ever think you'll buy and hold a property in the future at all?
Yeah, I want to. I think after a year of just wholesaling, I'll probably start doing that. But yeah, I think buy and hold is a great strategy. I think that's actually the key with like building wealth. Because a lot of this is like earned income, and buy and hold is more like passive, especially if you just have like a management company kind of helping out. But yeah, I definitely see that soon in my future. So, yeah, any other like questions? Anyone?
Great stuff. Great stuff.
No, I appreciate it. I still feel like I'm early. I'm surprised Chase asked me to want to talk. I'm early, guys. Like a couple years ago, I didn't do a deal. I haven't done a deal. I worked with my mentor. I learned. Just always trying to learn about the business. You know, taking action, failing a lot, learning a lot. Keep going.
Did you do your first deal and then get a mentor or mentor?
Yeah, so Kyle, he was my mentor, right? And he was my buyer. So when I had met him here at this at the meetup, I'd always text him, like I'd ask him, hey, what do you think the repairs, or this seller said this, what should I say, or something like that. He always helped out, right? We developed a relationship, and then he bought that deal. So then after he bought that deal, I'd say like 2 or 3 months went by, I didn't get another deal. And I didn't reach out to him as much. Maybe you could say I got satisfied. I was kind of like laid back a little bit. Like I wasn't as hungry as I was since I had $7,000. But then once I got back on it and I had a lead. And at that time he was a realtor as well. So I had a lead that was like a listing. And I hadn't talked to him in a couple of months, and I just reached out to him and I was like, hey, I got this lead. I mean, it's just a listing lead. I was like, hey, you can have it, type of thing. It was out in Charlottesville. I was like, you can have it. I don't want to get paid. I don't even know if I can get paid. And after that, he texted me back and was like, hey, like, are you free later? Called me. He's like, hey, like, do you want to like be acquisitions in my business? And at first I didn't want to do it, but I was straightforward with him. I said, like, yeah, I would do it, but eventually I want to like do my own business. And it goes back to just setting the right expectations.
So that was a huge thing, how he offered Kyle that deal. He's like, I don't even want any money for it. When you go for a mentor, you know, it's always you're going for a mentor for your benefit.
Right.
You know, they're only going to give you so much or spend so much of the time. It's only benefiting you. You got to do something to help them out. So they're going to get more time and everything else. So whenever I find potential investors, you know, I always present it as this was meant for you. I don't even talk about what I'm getting out of the deal, you know. It's always what they're going to get, you know, so.
Yeah.
It's a good point you bring up, because this business is a people business.
Exactly. So,
And the more value you add, when you think about others.
yeah. That's right.
That's what it's all about, man. Like going back to like I was saying, talking to like the emotional sellers, like people have like a BS detector. It's just in you. You know what I'm saying? You know when somebody's faking, you know when somebody's not keeping it real with you. Something's just gonna feel off. Even if you can't put your like mind on it, you're just like, I don't want to do that. So like same thing with like mentors, people you want mentor you. Like I guess they can sense it, you can sense it as well. Like I just went out to them and said, hey, look, you can have it. I didn't talk to them for like a month or two. Say, hey, look, I don't even know if you can get paid for this. Like you can have it. I don't even want, like you've helped me out so much. There's like, you can just have it. Right. And then he offered that position. And I've known him, I knew he was doing like 40, 50 deals a year. You know what I'm saying? Like I never asked him like, hey, can I work in your business? It just kind of was like organic. And yeah, I mean,
it's a long term. It's not a quickie.
Right. Yeah. Like TJ, you said TJ hit you up. It took TJ 15 months to get his first deal. Like, not that many people are gonna go that far to try to get their first deal.
True, they'll try something else. Like this ain't working on me, you know.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, so.
A lot of people just hop from Forex, e-commerce, real estate. You know what I'm saying? You get 2 months at each of these things, and you're never an expert in anything.
Yeah.
And you're not making no money in anything.
How you doing this?
Like you gotta really like pick one, burn your bridges. Like one book I would recommend is the Think and Grow Rich book. I still read that book. probably every month, like every 4 or 5 months. I probably read that book so many times, it's not even funny.
What did you like about it?
What, about the book?
Yeah.
It's just mindset, right? It's just like, one thing is saying like, just, and like I said, TJ should be an ambassador for Bachelor Leagues. I should be an ambassador for that book. I've probably recommended everybody I met that book because I felt like it changed my life, right?
Have you read any of his other books on the bowling field?
I had like the successful 7 or 13 traits. It was kind of like a son of the Think and Grow Rich book. And I went into Devil. I listened to the audio book on YouTube.
If anyone, if you haven't started reading books yet, I'll highly recommend The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Yeah, if you haven't started reading other books and stuff, The Compound Effect is a great one.
We might have to check that out. So,
Can I recommend the book?
go ahead.
The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. That's a really powerful book. It talks about this core concept. It's called the upper limit problem. But like we will run into success, we'll run into joy, peace, and we'll self-sabotage ourselves because we're not used to experience that much good feeling. And we're like, when you listen to the book or read it, it'll just hit home and you'll like apply it to the things that you do to yourself. And then he talks about how to overcome those. And I'm constantly like just finding myself being so self-aware and just like thinking about my thoughts, why I'm thinking about them, like just like expanding my capability to feel joy and abundance and just like having things go right and like not needing a problem. You don't need to constantly find a problem and feed off of something negative to live. You can live peacefully all the time. So it's a good book.
Sounds like a good one.
Who's that from?
It's The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. GAYHENDRICKS.
Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect. It's a beginner's book. It's very simple, but it's a great one.
Then also another book, I mean, you guys probably read it, heard about it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like the golden ticket of real estate, passive income, type of wealth book.
Even though Robert filed bankruptcy.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I mean, at least he had a good book. I've always been wishy-washy about, I looked into it a little bit, but I mean, it's a good book. Yeah.
When you said you don't bet too much on the cash buyers. I find like a bunch of people commenting on the posts whenever you're in the Facebook groups, and they're like, a lot of them are just wholesalers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anything that like you use to weed them out?
Nah, so like some wholesalers will probably be like, hey, is this still available? Or they'll come out and say something or send their email. But one, I already have it under contract. So like, what are you gonna do? And then two, it's like, even I tell my wholesalers like we can JV it, but they never go out there really. They never say, oh, I want to go out there. And if they did, I never knew. And I mean, nothing ever happened anyway. So
What's JVing it?
Joint venture.
yeah. So that's like, say, like when you find a buyer with another wholesaler, like you got the seller, they find the buyer, you guys split it 50-50 most of the time. I know sometimes people do different, but.
Just basically partnering on the deal.
I got you. Thank you.
Hate to interrupt, but we gotta get rolling. But
Yeah, no, I know, obviously, it's my fault.
and you guys have a lot of good questions. Hopefully I can see you guys next time.
For
Yeah,
sure.
seeing you.
Thanks for
Okay,
coming
we'll stay in
out.
touch. Thanks.
Definitely.
Maybe I missed something, but when you said, make sure your buyers look at the property when you're not there.
Hey,
they don't
see you.
stay behind
Yeah,
your
head out
back.
too.
So no, so I was saying like that's one of the cons of doing like the virtual deals is that most of the time you're not gonna be there to like make sure the buyer. So sometimes one thing, I know me starting out, I was scared a buyer would go behind my back. So say I have something for 90K and I'm trying to sell it for 100K. Say a buyer will go to the seller and say, hey, look, there's the guy you have it under contract with has it for this price. He's trying to sell for this. I'll give you this much. He might say, I'll give you 95 and
But
try
you
to
would never-
save 5K.
You would never do business with them anymore.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. Like, he's gonna have a bad rep for doing something like that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't do it. I would say I haven't had that happen, but I have seen some Facebook stuff people post like that. So. Yeah.
So whenever you send buyers out, like you do with me, you just say, tell them you're my partner or whatever.
Yeah,